Thank you so much for tuning in. I can't believe it's July. Let's go ahead and jump into the July forecast for all signs across the board. So if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe and like or comment, and welcome. If you're new, then you will know, well, if you're not new, then you'll know that I always, when I'm doing these reports for you guys, I keep my notes on a pad and I keep the astrology report, well, the astrology chart on the side so that I'm intuitively going with what I see and getting information across to you as quickly and as intuitively and as awesome as I can, which makes me different than the other astrologers on YouTube. So thanks again for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump and dive in. So it's July 2nd right now. I'm filming this on July 2nd, 2017. And again, this report and this reading is for every single sign. So whether this is for whether you have a Cancer ascendant or a Cancer sun sign, or you're a Leo or a Virgo or a Sagittarius, this is where the planets are currently, how the planets are currently affecting us across the board. So no matter what your sun sign is, no matter what your ascendant sign, your moon sign, your your Venus sign, it's for you. This reading is for you. So again, let's dive in. So July 2nd, we have Mars currently transiting through the sign of Cancer. So a lot of the personal planets are kind of crowding the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer is a super highly sensitive, very in tune, very receptive sign. And we feel that. We feel it in our sensitivities. We feel it in our emotions. We feel a little bit more vulnerable. And in some ways, we feel like we are trying to protect ourselves. We feel like we have to not put a front up or put a protective bubble up, but we feel more affected by things that are going on in our environment, things that are going on in our relationships, and it just kind of trickles. No matter how much of a steel force that you normally are, this Cancer influence affects all of us across the board. So Mars is the planet of drive, force, motivation, ambition. And when Mars moves through Cancer, this is something that we talked about last month, and is also in the Behati blog. When Mars moves through Cancer, it's not comfortable moving through Cancer whatsoever. The signs and the planets absolutely 110,000% play favorites. So Mars moving through Cancer is not comfortable. It doesn't like moving through Cancer. It's not its strong. It's not in its strongest position. Why is that? Well, that's because Cancer is very sensitive and very receptive, like I said before, and Mars wants to just kind of power through and like it's just like green. When you look at Mars, you see green means go. Mars just wants to shoot and just straight forward. But Cancer energy is actually, Cancer is ruled by the crab. And if you ever think about a crab, they kind of move side to side whenever they are moving about on the beach. And that's kind of how Cancer energy is. It's not like super direct. It's more factoring in your feelings, your emotions, your hunches, your intuition. So Mars moving through Cancer gets uncomfortable and says, I want to power through, but with when it is moving through Cancer in the way that it is, with the Sun moving through Cancer and Mercury moving through Cancer, Sun representing our ego, Mercury representing our communication, how we express ourselves, it becomes a little difficult because we now, this month, we have to factor in our feelings, our intuition, and we have to factor in how things feel and how we receive them. And the biggest signal and symbol and image that I've been getting for all of us across the board when I'm doing readings for you guys on my Instagram or when I'm doing them on YouTube is I feel like there's this antenna that is just kind of pushing up from the ground and opens up, and it's like sending out like energy, like radar. And really what this is like your own personal intuitive antennas rising up, and the universe saying, pay attention to the signals, pay attention to the signs. What are the things that you're picking up on? What are the things that you're missing? So that's something that I've been feeling across the board for all of us for the end of June, moving into July, and the rest of, more than half of July. So on July 2nd, we have Mars, the planet of drive, force, and motivation, boxing and like having a fight with Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation, and Pluto is very, very stubborn. It moves very slowly. It rules death. It rules the darker sides of life. It rules the darker sides of ourselves, and it rules power. And with Mars saying like, I want to go, I want to do this, I want to, blast forward, and you have Pluto saying like, look, there's some areas that you need to change, or you actually don't get to move forward, or you don't get to do things the way that you want to do. You have to do things the way that I want you to do them, because Pluto rules transformation, and it brings in like heavy, hardcore lessons. So on July 2nd and this week, I want to say until like Wednesday. So let me pull up my calendar. So July 2nd is a Sunday. I want to say until like the 5th or the 6th, you're going to have like a power play. So you might have some conflict or some issues with like power figures, a boss, relationship, like power struggles where you're just like, you might be pushing back, your partner might be pushing back, but it's all about like a battle of the wills. So that's something to keep in mind. On the 4th, we have Venus, the planet that rules relationships and love and beauty and desire. Currently, right now, it's falling within the sign of Taurus, which rules like earthy luxury. It's more steady. It's more consistent. It's more takes its time. It's more tangible things in touch. On the 4th, Venus moves into the sign of Gemini. Now, Venus across the board rules our relationships. It rules the things that we find aesthetically appealing, the things that we naturally gravitate towards. So when Venus moves into the sign of Gemini, the way that we would our focus with beauty and our focus on aesthetic, or the things that we naturally like kind of want to reach out and touch, whether it be a person or a tangible thing like a purse, a pocketbook, a pair of pants, or whatever the case may be, it switches up. So when Venus moves into the sign of Gemini, which is going to be happening for the 4th and throughout the month of July, the idea of the mind and the intellect are things that become very important to us and are valuable to us and very attractive. So I see this as you being curious. I see you, because Gemini rules curiosity and thinking outside and wanting to explore and wanting to try new things. I see this as being very sociable. I can see a lot of people going from being indoors or outside in like parks and going for bike rides or going to eat. Those type of activities when Venus was moving through Taurus, which is currently exiting out of, now wanting to be like super sociable, wanting to talk with friends, wanting to meet new people. During this time, if your personal Venus within your natal chart merges well with Gemini and you're single, then this is a great time if you meet someone during this time for like a lovely light flirty relationship. So I see that. This is probably not a very good time for new love, new relationships that you want to be serious, because when Venus moves through Gemini, it's known to be fickle. It's known to change its mind. However, you really want to check your natal chart and to see how Venus is affecting you and how it's transiting you. I've been having this one contact lens that has been bothering the crap out of me lately. And it's irritating me. So if you see me rubbing my eye, and if you hear that I'm nasal, I don't know if it's like my allergies. I don't know if there's like a little hair that keeps on poking in my eye, but it's been driving me crazy. Anyways. So that's something that I see that happens on the 4th. However, if you are single, and you are going out and like looking for love, then I say that if you're going to do it, you want to do it in like bar settings. You want to do it at library settings. Why am I saying a bar? Because I see like happy hour. I see like spontaneous trips. I see you going with friends. I see you meeting someone while you're out socializing, flitting from butterfly to butterfly. Those are the things that I see to encourage love relationships. When you see Venus, that's where you want to look for love. So if you're single, then then you want to look for Venus to see where you're most likely to find love for that time that she's transiting that sign. If you're in a relationship, then these are the types of dates that you want to go out on. So maybe, again, like a happy hour or meeting up for drinks, something very light, non-committal, and just enjoying yourself and being sociable, curious, going to a museum, learning something new, stretching your mind, stretching the limits of your mind, okay? So on the 5th is on a Wednesday, Mercury moves into the sign of Leo. Now, Mercury rules communication and our thoughts and our thinking. Now, before, Mercury was in the sign of Cancer. Mercury, again, falling with the sign of Cancer, is highly receptive. That's something that I said before. I was picking up on those vibes. When Mercury is moving through the sign of Cancer, again, it's very more emotional. It's wants to talk about its feelings. Sometimes it's not completely direct forward when it comes to expressing itself. Sometimes it's kind of like there's a lot of things that need to be factored in when it comes to communicating yourself and your feelings. When Mercury starts transiting through the sign of Leo, Leo is like the center of the universe. It is loud, it is beautiful, it is striking, it's fun, it comes from the heart. And I see that during this transit on the 5th and for the majority of July, this is where we're going to be more expressive, we're going to be more creative, we're going to be more, oh God, this contact lens, like, can I just like pop it out? Yeah, we're going to be more expressive. We're going to be more loud in the way that we communicate ourselves, in the way that we think. We're way more creative. Creation and expression and putting yourself out there and being loud and bold are things that I see for all of us and are super encouraged for all of us across the board when Mercury moves through the sign of Leo. How is this? Well, it's because everyone is on the same wavelength. We're all kind of vibing with the same energy. So let's say you go on a job interview. Let's say it's for like fashion design or something. Then you want to talk to the people that you're interviewing with and saying like, show them how passionate you are and how unique your outfits are and how vibrant and luxurious those are the skills and the talents that you can bring to their business. So knowing where the planets are currently transiting helps you in your day-to-day life, no matter if you're a Leo, a Cancer, a Gemini, a Taurus, or an Aries, across the board. So this is why it's really important for you to watch where the planets are, because you want to be able to vibe with what's currently cosmically going on in the galaxies right now. Instead of fighting with it, you want to flow with it. So that's the 5th. Also on the 5th, I see the sun representing life energy and our ego, and also the center of the universe, like the center of our galaxy. It's squaring, which means that it's fighting, and not the two energies of these planets are not vibing together. They're not working together with the planet Jupiter. Now, Jupiter rules expansion. It rules abundance and big blessings. Whatever it touches, it wants to grow. Now, Sun ruling our ego. Oh my God, I can't deal with this anymore. Sorry, you guys, that had to come out. It's been like, my contact has been like driving me crazy all day. Anyways, so Sun represents our ego, our life energy, and our vibrancy. And Jupiter rules expansion and growth. And when you have Sun and Jupiter squaring each other in the way that they do, then this is a tendency to kind of like overdo it, a tendency to kind of take things to the next level, to push yourself, to maybe go overboard. So in this case, with Jupiter moving through Libra, sometimes this is with beauty, sometimes this is with over decorating. It depends on what Libra rules within your chart. For me, it rules my 4th house of home, so I could like overdo it within the home environment. Maybe I paint, the walls. I have this like idea to like paint the walls, and it's just like not a good choice at all. Or maybe like I overeat at home, or I overeat or overdo it in some way, shape, or form. But that's something that you want to look out for on the 5th, especially since Mercury is moving into the planet of the sign of Leo. Again, the sign that wants to kind of, be expressive and blow things up and like be showy and it like draw attention to itself. So in this case, you really want to be careful of over-promising or overdoing things, overexerting yourself, being a little too outrageous, a little too over the top, if there is such a thing. Okay, so on the 8th, we have a full moon in Capricorn. So full moons represent endings and releasing, and it shows the full moon. When the full moon occurs, it shows everything that's been building up and brewing up until this point. Now it finally comes up to the surface. Now Capricorn is all about drive, long-term vision, commitment, structure. If you guys see me wiping my nose, it's because I feel like, you guys know, I'll feel like angels and tingling, and my fairies and my guides are like, go, 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 you're doing great, Jess. And I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But it gets kind of irritating. This happens when I'm doing a reading. I feel like tickles and spider webs on my face. I feel it on my scalp. I feel it on my ankles, but definitely on my nose, always on my nose. So factor in my allergies in and my contacts, and then the angels and the guides working with me, and it's just, I'm a mess. I'll start sneezing in a moment too. The other thing that I do is I yawn in the middle of a prayer or in the middle of setting intentions, and that was another thing that years I realized afterwards, that it's like confirmation that I'm being heard, I'm being listened to. So weird things, like I know some people sweat when they're doing readings. I know some people get gassy and burp. It's like our bodies do weird things when we're like channeling energy and stuff like that, but whatever. Anyways, so again, the 8th is this full moon in Capricorn. I want to go into a totally different, like a totally specific video about this full moon. I love the full moon. I love full moons and new moons, but because I vibe so much with the moon. I am seriously a moon child. But anyways, Capricorn, you really do want to check to see where Capricorn falls within your chart, because that's where you see endings. That's where you see things coming to completion, things coming to a head. But Capricorn across the board rules our long-term vision. It rules the things that we commit ourselves to, that we want to stick with, the things that we want to grow, the things that we want to apply ourselves and put hard work into. So with this full moon, you hopefully will see, if you've been putting in the work, and if you've been being driven and motivated and every single day committing yourself to what you want to see manifest itself, then you will see the result of it. If there's still some things that need to be tweaked, or if there's still some things that you need to do as far as like put the hard work in, don't be disappointed. Do what you have to do in order to make the dream work, especially when it comes to relationships, especially when it comes to business and career choices and making changes, because a lot of us are going through that right now, especially when it comes to health. You want to make sure that if anything bubbles up during this full moon, that if it needs to be tweaked and changed, that you do it, because it's long term, it's going to benefit you for the long haul, and that's what Capricorn rules. Oh my God, my nose. Okay, on the 9th, we have Sun perfectly opposing Pluto. Now, remember we were talking earlier about Mars, our drive, our passion, our force, our motivation, squaring Pluto and that power struggle. Again, with the Sun opposing Pluto, it's kind of like, again, it's like the ego. It's someone's ego kind of lit a flame, or it's like you wanting to go and do something your way, and other people are like, this is my way or the highway, or this could be someone overdoing it, burning themselves out. These are things that you want to be aware of. So full moons in general are connected to obviously the moon and our emotions, and there's such highly sensitive times, especially with the moon being in with the sun being in the sign of Cancer, Mars being in the sign of Cancer, and Mercury just recently leaving Cancer. All of this creates this super sensitive energy, and full moons in general are notorious for just kind of zapping your energy and taking a lot out of you, especially if you're a woman. But it's like a time for you to rest, a time for you to hydrate, a time for you to take care of yourself in whatever shape or form your body is telling you to take care of yourself. So those are things that you want to look out for, especially because the day after and the day of the full moon, we have the Sun and Pluto opposing each other, fighting each other. So Pluto will come in and say, you're doing too much, or If you do too much, you will break down. Pluto rules breakdowns. It rules destruction, and it will, in a second, it will destroy anything that has become weakened, anything that needs to be wiped out. It will wipe it out. Speaking of which, you guys, I went to New Orleans not too long ago, and I got this amazing skull. Can you see this? Oh, also please ignore the mess in the back of my room. It's been like the last month. I know I've been saying it for a while, but like the last few months have been crazy. The last month has been crazy, but I'm here now and I'm still needing to clean up, and we just literally got off the plane not too long ago, and I bought this skull. It was so amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes. I've been putting it on my altar. Why am I bringing this up now? Because Pluto rules the underworld and the darker sides of life, and I just fell in love with it. Let me know what you think. Is this the weirdest thing you've ever seen, or is it the coolest? I love skulls. Truthfully, I do. So this was a little fun thing that I picked up while I was in New Orleans, and I had to share it with you. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. Anyways, so Pluto rules death. Boom, destruction. Oh, that's not a real skull, by the way, obviously. It's a cast of an actual human skull that I have. Pretty expensive, but totally worth it. Let me take a sip. I love apple juice. Okay, moving forward. Thank you for being patient with me while I move through this chart reading. It's a whole month, so of course there's a lot of information to talk about. Are we still recording? Yes, we are. Okay, so the 14th after that, the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. I really want us to take time to not only set intentions, but to honor our feelings and to rest and to build our energy, because even looking at this chart, hopefully I'll be able to put a photo of it up in the videos, or maybe you can check out the blog, because I will be putting this in written form on the BehatiLife blog. But you will see it, but this chart is full of squares, and the squares are planets that are kind of not vibing with each other and not merging together really well, and it can become exhausting. So I see a lot of potential for July, because there's a lot of areas for growth and expansion and a lot of good things that are happening. But on the flip side of that, I see a lot of change. I see energy again. Like, remember how I was saying before with it's like this antenna that just kind of comes up, and you know, it kind of opens up and it becomes receptive, and you're like picking up on vibes. So if that's the case, there's a lot of different vibrations that you're going to be picking up on. There's a lot of things that can be exhausting you. You're way more receptive. You're way more sensitive. That's not a bad thing, but you need to be aware of how you feel, and you need to take those feelings into consideration, because you can exhaust yourself. You can hurt yourself. You can do too much, which is something that we saw before on the 5th. So all of those things are still factored in, and you want to give each of these transits at least like a week of influence time, which just kind of covers all of July. So just be very easy and gentle with yourself. The biggest thing that I see too is staying hydrated, taking care of your physical body, taking care of your spiritual body, taking care of your heart, and resting. And listen to the signs and the signals, because you are going to be receiving signals. You definitely are going to be receiving signals for the month of July, and you want to take them seriously. Where did we leave off? So, okay, Sun versus Pluto. The 14th, Mercury. Okay, yeah, 14th. Mercury, the planet of communication, moves into a square with Jupiter. Oh, actually, no, this is a sextile. Yep, this is sextile. Mercury moves into like a really easy position with the planet Jupiter. Now, this is a great time for talking, communicating, having an interview, having a conversation, a dialogue, talking to a friend, talking to a family member, writing, journaling, documenting. Why? Because Mercury rules writing and communication, and Jupiter represents blessings and abundance. It's easy, it's effortless. So if you are connected to, if you have like writing, or if you're a blogger, or if communication or selling something is something that works for you or that would benefit you, This is the time to do it on the 14th, give or take a day or two, but definitely the 14th. You want to put a star next to that on your calendar, because that's going to be a great day for having an interview or selling something, or introducing a new idea, getting someone on board, meeting a new friend, etc., etc., etc. Okay, the 17th, speaking of friendships and partnerships, the 17th, we really want to be careful, because Venus, which rules relationships and love and beauty, is going to come into a square with the planet Neptune. Now, Neptune has the worst reputation. Neptune isn't bad, but in certain situations, it can muddle things. It can make things unclear and foggy. And a lot of my generation has Venus square Neptune within their natal chart. This just kind of like sends it over the top. So what happens is that we can't actually see straight. We kind of have on like foggy goggles. It's like wearing beer glasses or beer goggles or whatever it is that they call it, when you just can't see straight. You can't see people for who they are. You can't see the truth. You buy things that don't even logically make sense, that you don't even need. You just make poor decisions, especially when it comes to love and relationships. If you meet someone during this day, you want to take your time with getting to know them, because again, this is like the swindler, especially with Venus moving through the sign of Gemini. Oh my gosh, it's just like a relationship that is not promised to last. So basically, you just want to keep your eyes open for that. You just can't see straight. That's what it's like, again, wearing beer goggles, like beer glasses, like you just, or me having one contact lens in and one contact lens out. Like, I can't see straight right now. One eye is blurry and the other ones can actually see. So it's like, that's what you're dealing with Venus squaring Neptune. So just be aware. Give it like 2 or 3 days before you and oh my God. So the other thing too is like the day after, Venus ruling again relationships, love relationships, aesthetics, beauty, trines Jupiter, which wants to kind of feels friendly, feels good, feels wonderful, but then we also need to be aware, because the day before, Venus is in this like square with Neptune. So it's like, it looks good, it looks pretty, but you know, if you do smell something bad, or if something smells rotten, it's rotten. All right, so just keep that in mind and you should be good. If you do meet someone during this time, don't feel bad, especially if you're out socializing, having a good time. If you are looking for a long-term relationship, then you want to take your time with it. If you're looking for a fling, then this could be great, because it's like positive feelings. But also, side note, if you end up being like intimate or anything like that, then again, you want to like be smart about it, because just the way that the planets are transiting right now, just FYI, you guys know I keep it real. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to tell you everything that I see. And that's something else that I see. I just want you to be careful. If you hear any noise in the background, it's the water running from the air conditioner unit. It always sounds like someone's like peeing outside of my window, but it's really not, I promise. Okay, 19th. The 19th is so interesting, because the day after this, after I warned you, then you have this energy of Venus trine Saturn. Now, Saturn rules commitments and long term, and it thinks about the it like grounds things, and it thinks about the future, and it thinks about the long haul, and it's something that you can count on. So if you are meeting someone again, then you just want to do your research. You want to take your time. You don't want to rush it, especially, just trust me with this, you guys, especially with Venus moving through the sign of Gemini. It's not a negative thing. It just is what it is. So you just want to be aware if you're looking for something long-term in relationships. Let's say if it's a purse or something that you want to buy, because Venus rules values and aesthetic and money. So you just want to make sure that you do your research on it, that you look at all the pictures of, you know, the item that it is that you want to purchase, especially if you're making a huge chunk of, like, putting down a huge chunk of change on it. You work hard for your money, and you want to make sure that if you're going to invest it, that it's going to pay off, and that it's not going to be like something that you regret. I feel like I do that all the time. But again, if you're watching this right now, you're being warned not to fall into that little trap. So it has the potential to be long, like benefit you in the long haul, and to be positive, and to give to you and serve serve you long term, but also you just want to do your research. You want to be aware. And if you're aware, then you're fine. Follow your feeling, follow your intuition. But again, be aware. Easy peasy. Nothing too crazy there. On the 20th, and we're nearing the end of July, on the 20th, Mars falls into the sign, moves into the sign of Leo. Again, Mars finally, it's not the most comfortable, but it's not as uncomfortable as it was when it was in Cancer. This is all about doing things over the top, above and beyond, making a show, going on Broadway. Like, seriously. I just nerded out and like really gave that my all, but really that's the vibe of Mars moving through Leo. It's just like like it's so obnoxious. Well, it's not obnoxious, it's fun. So that's kind of how I see us going about the things that we love, especially our creative passions, being creative, being creating. So sometimes this is people being like, I'm gonna make some babies, because Leo naturally rules the 5th house. So those types of things are you're gonna start seeing your engines kind of revving up. You're gonna see you coming up with, just being bold about going after the things that you want, and a little less of, let me feel this out. How does this feel? What am I picking up on? I don't know, we got to factor this in. That's the kind of vibe that you get with Cancer. Which, by the way, I'm a Cancer ascendant. I'm not dogging Cancer people or people with Mars in Cancer. It's not a bad thing. Cancer is does not get enough credit for the power that it has. It's actually one of the cardinal signs. It's a leader within the astrological chart. So even though Cancer is feeling and emotion and intuitive and receptive and sensitive, it's still a leader. It's a powerful player within the astrology chart. It's like a strong power player. So I don't want anyone to think, get the wrong idea that I'm being hard on any of these planets as they're moving through the signs. They just have different traits. They have different tendencies. They have pluses and minuses, each of them. So yes, 20th, Mars moves into Leo. We get more expressive. We get more bold. We get more showy, more attention seeking when it comes to going after the things that we want. And also we follow our heart. We act upon the impulse of our heart. We can't help but to do that. That's what Leo is all about. Something that I feel like Leo itself is misunderstood about. Okay, warning. Let me give you a little warning. Also on this day, on the 20th, the sun squares Uranus. Now, this is just Uranus rules erratic behavior. It rules surprises, unexpected developments. So the sun represents life energy, our ego, and Uranus rules, okay, let me throw this whole galaxy up for a loop. Let's do things differently. Let's strike out. Let's rebel. Let's revolt. So on this day, and 2 days before it, 3 days before it, 4 days before it, just keep an eye out. 4 days after, even though it's a little wide, but whatever. You might have some unexpected developments, some surprises, some things that you didn't see coming. If they do happen, it's going to show up out of nowhere. It's going to strike up out of the blue. So that's something to be aware of. Totally. I don't think that it's anything that you need to be concerned about hardcore, but it's something that if it does show up, it's going to come in like a lightning strike out of left field. You didn't see it coming, but you heard it here first. So just FYI, you've been warned. And again, it really depends on how your natal chart is, how this is going to affect you, if it will even affect you. But if it does affect you, just know that I told you so. We saw it. You want to be careful of accidents. You want to be careful. You just want to be careful in general. That doesn't mean that you have to walk around with bubble wrapping yourself or wearing a helmet to cross the street or anything like that. Because chances are you wouldn't see it coming anyways, whatever it is. But just be aware. You don't have to live in fear, but you do want to be aware. On the 22nd, the sun follows Mars, and enters into the sign of Leo as well. Again, this is heart-centered. This is showy, expressive. It's loud. It's fun. And I mean, this is the core of summer. Like, this is when summer really starts revving up. This is when you start enjoying yourself. You start getting creative. You start wearing shorter belly shirts like I've been doing, which I've been really enjoying. Wearing more colors, being more expressive, having more fun. That's what I see for the month of July. Following after that, we have a gorgeous new moon. It's a little bit difficult, a little bit tricky, but I feel like whenever we have difficult transits like this, it's all about transformation and pushing the boundary. And if you have friction, then you have change. And a lot of you guys have been asking for change, especially this new moon is all about new beginnings, switching things up, doing things differently. And that's what I see here. The new moon is in the sign of Leo. Again, this is about creation, creativity, moving from your heart, following your heart, going for it, being bold, giving yourself the attention that you deserve, demanding the attention that you deserve, being beautiful, taking care of yourself, not having shame, not giving a damn what other people think about you. Also, on this new moon, Mars, the planet of drive and energy and passion, sits right on top of this too, giving us an extra boost of energy. So that's going to be really good, really golden, and we're going to benefit from that. So what I say is that if you're starting a new project, if you're putting yourself out there, then it's good because you have Mars pushing you and pulling you up and saying, go, 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 go. So again, follow your intuition and follow your vibes. This is the perfect time to create something, whether it be a baby, wink, for those of you that are channeling the Mars energy in that way, whether it be a project, whether it be a new venture, a new business, but definitely going for it. Hopefully I'll have another video about this new moon in detail too that I'll have up later on my YouTube channel. So if you like this video, even though it's a little long, definitely hit subscribe, like it, comment. There's plenty more videos that are going to be coming, especially now. I made some huge changes with my own personal life that are going to make it. So I'm way more available to you guys because you guys know I've been booked up with my readings and my time has been limited, but I have way more time now because of some lifestyle changes that I've done. I.e. I quit my job and I'm doing BehatiLife full time. So whoop, whoop, whoop. But anyways, and thank you guys for encouraging me and supporting me throughout that transition because it was a little nervous, but maybe I'll talk about that in another video. And if you want to hear me talk about, you know, my decision and like to work for BehatiLife full time and like the changes going on in my personal life, leave a comment below. Like, you know, I can talk about my personal life. I would love to share pieces of my personal life with you, but for right now I'm doing astrology and tarot reports. Which, do I have my tarot cards here? Yeah, I'm going to shuffle for this month of July. Okay, so let's go ahead and end this strong. So 24th, we have Venus ruling, again, relationships, aesthetics, sitting opposite of Saturn. So Saturn is about restriction. It's about hard work. It's about commitment. It's kind of the anchor of the astrology the astrology chart. And with this case, Venus wants to, especially within Gemini, it wants to expand, it wants to go out, it wants to do things. But Saturn is like, you have commitments, you have things you need to do, you have responsibilities. So in this case, it's kind of like you feel a little obligated, you feel kind of like handcuffed, you feel like your freedom is kind of taken away from you a little bit. So that can be a tough time, but it's not make or break. It can create a little bit of tense energy when it comes to relationships, kind of questioning commitment or challenging commitment, but that's not a bad thing. Okay, sorry, I'm pulling cards and I'm like reading them and looking at them too. It's not a bad thing, but it's something that if something ever comes up within your relationship during these times, know that it's not the planets are coming in and meddling for things for no reason. If something needs to be reevaluated on, especially when it comes to relationships or like a work partnership, then you need to take it seriously. You need to evaluate it because the planets show like, okay, you need to pay attention to this. This isn't meant to last forever and there's better things or more things ahead of you. So take it seriously. If something is testing their commitment, then maybe it's time to let the relationship go or or allow it to shift and change in the way that it needs to. If you decide that you are committed and you love the relationship, but there's a few things that need to be tweaked, then good thing you guys had that conversation. But either way, thank the planets and the universe and God for bringing things to your awareness so that you can make some changes. On the 25th, oh, I love this. And you guys are going to be like, why do you love this? Because I just do. Mercury, the planet of communication, thoughts, and thinking, moves into the sign of Virgo. And I just love this because, oh, I'm a Virgo myself. I'm a Virgo sun, and I love paying attention to detail. I'm a perfectionist. I like diving into the details. I'm a workaholic, especially with the things that I'm passionate about, i.e. BehatiLife and astrology charts and tarot. Spirituality and also guiding people, and I'm highly intuitive. So this put all those pieces together, and it's just like Mercury just thrives within this position of Virgo. It loves moving through Virgo. It's exalted in the sign of Virgo. And it feels good. It's on its high. You're thinking clearly. You're thinking straight. You return back to work. You're more focused. You're paying attention to detail, those types of things, having structure or a routine, thinking about health, thinking about wellness, thinking about your day-to-day life and applying that. And for me, it just vibes really well, especially lately. Everything has been feeling like it's been up in the air. And for Mercury to move through the sign of Virgo, it's like a breath of fresh air, because it's like finally I could feel earthy and grounded and like get back to my day-to-day routine and taking, doing what I do, taking my vitamins, which I mean I do anyways, but it's like that feeling, that familiarity. So I love this. I feel like it's going to benefit a lot of us. This is going to be amazing for those of you that are studying, for those of you guys that are doing research, for those of you guys that are focused on health or again your day-to-day routine, health, exercise regimens, writing, documenting, expressing, communicating, all of those things. It's going to be so good. And we're going to carry that into August. So that's going to be really, really dope. It's going to be an amazing time for business too. That's my intuition. That's my feeling. Oh my gosh, my nose is getting tickled so much right now. Okay, the 26th, the sun is going to be conjunct perfectly Mars. Mars represents energy, sun represents life force. You put the two of them together and we're just like a rocket. It's like someone struck the match of or hit the start button for the space shuttle to go off, and that rocket ship is just blasting through space. That's something that I see. I think it's going to be full of vitality, full of energy, full like just energy, life vibration, just like powering through us. That's going to be the 26th. I feel it the 25th. I feel it the 24th and a little bit of the 23rd, moving into the month of August. So that's going to be really good. The 30th, I promise I'm almost done. I feel like I've been talking forever. Okay, the 30th, Venus connects with Uranus, again, the planet of surprise and switching things up, erratic behavior. This is a great time to go for a date, to meet someone spontaneously, to switch things up, to buy something random. Like for some reason I just got this vision of like going to like a and I got chills too just now, going to like a boutique, like an old antique shop, and like finding an item that's old and different, and my phone's blowing up, that's old and different and unique, and like loving it, buying it, investing in it, falling in love with it. Also, I am getting the feeling that this could be a good day to play the lottery or invest in like surprise winnings, even though Jupiter normally rules that. But for some reason, I'm getting the vibe that Venus might be a power player. So it depends. Maybe someone who's watching this right now, maybe Venus rules their 8th house of lottery and like winnings, or 2nd house of like money, or whatever the case may be. But so I felt the need to say that. So if this message kind of strikes you, then maybe you should do a scratch off card, or maybe you should play the lottery. But that's the 30th. And to end this on a strong note, on the 31st, Venus enters into Cancer, the last one of the sign. This is again about aesthetic and beauty. So Venus rules aesthetic and beauty in relationships. You can remember Cancer is way more intuitive and way more receptive and emotional and sensitive, and that's what you can expect from Venus moving into the sign of Cancer. This is where we start to get more focus on the home life. We start focusing on family. We start enjoying like the comfort, like comforting things, comforting people. Yeah, I mean, it's just a dope placement for Venus, and it's like, again, very feely, very emotional. This is a great time to connect with someone who's connected with their feelings in that way. So I did pull 2 cards. Did you see them? I did pull 2 cards for the month of July across the board, and it's the High Priestess and the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is about speed, movement, energy, things happening quickly. High Priestess is all about our feelings, our intuitions. Again, you guys, this is what I've been saying. Like literally, this is what I've been saying. So the cards are picking up on the vibes that I've been getting already. Again, I remember my image of this antenna coming up out of the ground, your own personal intuitive antenna. And those vibes, there's a lot of energy that's kind of getting stirred up, and I feel like that's the 8 of Wands. This energy that's getting like stirred up, things moving fast, information coming and going, and basically, like my nose kind of tickling right now, basically what you want to do is be receptive and open to picking up on that and following your intuition. So there's going to be a lot of doors that are going to be opening, a lot of things that are going to be closing, a lot of friction, a lot of change, and there are things that you want to be open to and allow things to kind of fly in through the window, like when Uranus comes in and you know, gives us the element of surprise within our lives, or when we have to ask ourselves what I'm committed to or what I've been doing for all of this time. Is this working for me? Does this work for what I want for my life in the long haul, or is this like wasted energy? Also, like changing of our vibration from being like super receptive and emotional to being more like, look, I've felt it. I felt how I felt. I know how I feel. I've picked up all my signals and my messages, and now I'm going to make a show of it. Now I'm going to do some action on it. So that's what I see across the board. If you ever need to come back to the video and, you know, remember High Priestess, intuition, following your vibes, also seeking someone, a moon woman or a medicine woman or a tarot reader, a clairvoyant, that's me, astrology reader, whatever, in order to help you if you ever at any point feel disconnected or lost, or you're too crowded, you know, with like things and activity that's going on in your external world, that it makes it hard for you to know the next step, the next path. So all of those things, those resources are available to you if you know who to talk to and know when to talk to them and know when to reach out, and always follow divine timing, okay? So please subscribe to the channel. There's going to be many, many, many more videos of these to come. I'm so excited to get the full moon video out because I love the full moon and the new moon video. So if you hit subscribe and if you hit the bell, then you'll be that little symbol on your YouTube or on your phone or on your laptop. It'll send a signal out to you when the video is uploaded, so you won't miss any details. Also, readings are available, full moon, new moon. Also, monthly subscription readings are going to be reopened within a week. So by the time that you're probably watching this, then it should be open for you. For those of you guys that want to have monthly subscriptions with tarot readings, and if you need to work with me one-on-one, I'm here for you. I can look at your chart, I can pull your cards, and we can see what messages and signals are coming up for you.